In order to understand gentrification, I think you have to go way back to the period of colonization and to understand the way that the colonizers, the European colonizers, viewed the indigenous people, or didn't view them. They didn't look at them as human or as being existent, right? So oftentimes if you read the writings, they talk about this vast land that was for the taking, as if there was nobody living there when you had millions and millions of indigenous people living on these lands. And so gentrification is a lot like that.
So gentrification has to do with a lot of who benefits, who gains, and who loses, right?
You see people being displaced, or you just see families having to move because of the rapid changes. In the area, I have seen changes. It's pretty interesting to see like what businesses are going up, what businesses are going down. I've been coming here to the shop for about 5 years, and it was not like this at all, you know. And it was very, not desolate, but it wasn't as hip and vibrant and very different, you know, walks of life.
And York Avenue is actually very happening place. I have a coffee shop over across the way. I got one of the best iced coffees in town. So I always get one of those when I come through.
I think what's happening in Highland Park benefits people who are investing their money in Highland Park. It doesn't really benefit anybody else per se. You've seen a lot of these hipster restaurants and bars, and all of a sudden the parks look different. There's a skate park all of a sudden. You know, when people were lobbying for that skate park for a long time, you know, people were trying to get skate park for the kids living in this neighborhood. Now there's a skate park. People that are benefiting from this shift got really pissed off, and they were like, you know, well, you guys had this neighborhood, and it was riddled with drugs and gangs, and, you know, infested with, you know, with all these things, these negative things. And I was like, yeah, you know, sure, that exists in the neighborhood, but you can say that exists in any neighborhood. Ultimately, capitalism is responsible for gentrification, you know, and the displacement of human beings. There's no consideration in this country, and well, I'll speak about this country. There's no consideration for dignity or humanity in this country. There's nothing that says that people have the right to have a home, right? This was something interesting when we traveled to Cuba that we saw, and that is, yes, you see economic, what we would perceive as poverty, right? But I didn't see misery, you know? Here, people can be miserable. It's, you know, I would love to blame it on a specific group of people, like so white people with beards and flannels. Those are the people responsible. But that's not the case, you know what I mean? And so, but these people are not, they're not helping the situation by coming in and buying things and, you know, starting businesses. It has to do with business. And those people with a lot of money who are pushing these changes forward so that they can benefit. And
the aspect of gentrification is that it's making a lot of people who live here that have been here for decades are being pushed out, and the investors could care less. But they're displacing families, and they don't understand that they're actually destroying a community. But that's the nature of the beast. It happens everywhere.
It's people that they're not, people not considering how them moving into a neighborhood is going to affect the people that are already there, right? It's also recognizing that the government has abandoned people and abandoned neighborhoods in this very grotesque way, where people have to find ways to create a sustainable sort of situation in their own neighborhoods. And I have to say, just because someone is poor doesn't mean that they're dumb or dirty or that they don't matter. You know, poor people have tons to offer.
Well, the original neighborhoods and community members, it impacts them. I mean, I'm good with development, but not at the expense of people.
You know, it's been nothing but change. Ever since I moved here, it's been a constant change. You know, which is what a lot of people don't understand, because the changes that have been happening recently are kind of bigger, but there's always been change here.
As a community, as a city, it affects everyone, not just one specific race or culture. It affects everyone. So we need everybody to be aware so we could start to address these social issues together and start to really unify us as a city, as a peoples, and be able to continue to affect change appropriately that actually benefits everyone and actually strengthens equitable chances for everyone.